Welcome to a Matchmaker's Guide on Love and Life with yours truly, Matchmaker Katy Clark. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing today solo. I have just started kind of a new venture in starting at podcast 100. I started to do interviews, but I have to be honest, I miss like my one-on-one time with you and kind of my downloads and sharing them with you in relationships. Now, I know you all know me as Dating with Katy, and I'm still a matchmaker who's putting people on dates, getting the feedback. I have 100 podcasts all about dating. You guys, there's really, sometimes people are like, Katy, what do you think about my photos online? Or Katy, how do I know if this is the right person? And I say, in my mind, I can tell them the exact podcast to listen to. If you have not done it, please go do it. And I'm going to tell you why, because I made them to be 15 minutes long. Okay, 15 minutes, 20 minutes is my max usually. Today might be a little bit longer because I'm just happy to sit down with you guys. But I really want to share, little details and snippets of dating so that you can be better at it and that you could be a 20 percenter. Now, you guys know my 20 percenters are, the top, if everybody who's single, if there's 100 people, 80% are junk. And you're shaking your head right now because you know it's true. 80% people out there are just terrible. And I have a client, he's getting engaged. I'm planning his whole engagement. I'm helping plan his wedding. It's been so fun. And we were talking about RSVPs to wedding invites. I said, good luck if you actually think people are going to RSVP. People are flakes. Okay. And it's sad because 80% of people are just flakes. So you can just know that. And you know that because when you're swiping and when you start talking to people, they just flake out or they're just flaky people. And they're just not just flaky, but there's so much more to that. They just ghost you or they're just immature or they can't pick a date. Ladies, you're terrible at it. Okay. So if you're a woman and you're like, oh yeah, that's all men listening to this podcast, you're thinking, oh, men are just all that stuff. Ladies, you are too. Okay. I listen to men all the time. Like you ladies can't even figure out if you like a guy. So you keep stringing them along. Like you need to get on it, girls. You need your standards list and you need to release a man who is not for you. Okay. But all this to say, so you've got the 20%, which, I have people and friends for like, Katy, I don't even know if it's 20% anymore. Of those 20%, you're going to have to find someone who's your type, your people, your equal is what I call it, guys. These are Fit Chef Katyisms. So, and I have to apologize. I'm telling you, allergies are hitting me hard. I do everything. I do the detoxing, whatever, and it still hits. So hopefully you're listening and not watching me in my in my frustration of allergies. If you have allergy ideas, suggestions, pop it down there. So I also want to encourage you guys that in those 100 podcasts, there's something for everybody. Dating with limitations, how to kiss, because I had so many people complain about kissing, of what to wear on a first date. Why are men, what makes a good man? And I always say it's the good man, ladies. Are you looking for the good man? Ladies, I have one for you, like how you are shooting yourself in the foot with dating. So there's something for everybody. But starting podcast 100, I started doing interviews. And please, they're a little bit longer, but take a road trip, go listen to these. My first one was with the woman that I work for and partner with in Sync Matchmaking. She and her husband is my biggest fan. She's like, girl, my husband listens to all your podcasts. I'm like, yes, that's a win. Okay. And she and I just really talked about matchmaking and dating. So take a listen to that. My next podcast was with a friend of mine. She's a former stripper, now in a fabulous marriage. And I did have someone comment that, they said, Katy, you're all about 20 percenters. Why would you have her on your podcast? And I was like, what? The point is we can all become a 20 percenter. Even if you were an 80 percenter, you can choose to do better, right? There's greatness in you. So that was another great podcast. And then I have to tell you, I absolutely loved, especially as a married woman. My last podcast was with Nick and Amy. They are from the Ultimate Intimacy app, but they also have the Instagram. And my husband and I, we love it. We love the app. It helps us with, deeper questions. My husband is great. And I've talked about it before. He's a little bit more of the engineer mind. So he's not as curious about things where I'm always asking questions. What's this? How'd you get there? Da, da, da. And it kind of drives him nuts sometimes. But I can tell you this as well. It helps because I help pull things out of him, but I need him to pull things out of me for connection. And so I've learned it's okay to use books. We have a book of 3001 questions. The app is full of, intimacy connection questions, but it's also sexual. It's for married people. They're married. They believe it's for married people. But I'm telling you, especially if you're a guy listening, you want more sex, you need to make more connection with your wife. It's just that simple. So go listen to that podcast. We have some really saucy ideas on there. They have one, Amy gave one for the ladies, a really cute text idea on how to get your husband, excited for the night, and how ladies, you need to be initiating sex. And then they also talk about like where they spend their free time so their kids don't hang out with them and kind of try to interrupt them. But anyway, so go check out all the podcasts, you guys. Today, I'm going to be just talking about some stuff that I've been learning since I've been married. I have to be honest, I'm rolling into 2 years now. And that's why I've changed transitioned my podcast to a matchmaker's guide on love and life, because now it's about relationships. And I can speak to a place of being a married person. I have to be honest, anytime you see an expert who's not doing what they're saying they're an expert in, I kind of got to question that. I'm like, how's that work? A lot of dating coaches, a lot of single coaches are all single. And I guess you can be a great single, but if you want to be like married and in a relationship, you should really be speaking with someone who is doing it and doing it well. Speaking of that, I'm going to be having my pastor Keith Craft on. He has been married for like 40 something years. He's 64. He's fit. He's good looking. His wife is adorable. He adores her. You are going to want to listen to that. If you're married or not, even if you're not married, it's going to really help you structure like how to choose, like listening to his heart. He calls men out. He makes men rise up to greatness. And you're going to love that podcast. That's coming up. And one more I'm super excited about, you guys. Joshua Broom, I think I said it wrong. He's an ex-porn star turned pastor, married, 4 kids. I just hope these podcasts are really just inspiring you to like do better if you're single, if you're in a marriage, if you're in between, if you're thinking about divorce. Like, no, like, let's just do it better. And today's podcast, I'm really going to talk about healing like my inner wounds. I'm not even sure what the title is going to be, but the need to heal in a relationship. And of course, we all know about this stuff. There's so much information now, and this is what is kind of perturbing me, is this idea that there's tons of information. I didn't know any of this stuff when we were high school kids. Do you remember the word trauma? No. Do we remember the word attachment theories? No, we didn't know anything about this. Our parents didn't teach us. There was no social media. There's no information. And now our society is saturated. And I'm telling you guys, saturated with information. There are so many dating coaches, relationship coaches. You don't even need to go to therapy anymore. You can get all these ideas off of YouTube, off of Instagram. I mean, I got to be honest, I love Jimmy on relationships. I mean, if you guys watch him, he's hilarious the way he does it. And he speaks to both sides, men and women. And I think he does a really good job. And it's kind of the one I like tend to go to the most. And he also includes the terminologies of, all the theories. And look, I actually don't like to apply those terms on the people I love and on myself. I think it's good to know, but it's really dangerous to then consume yourself and say that, well, I have this attachment style. No, you have the attachment style that you choose. So you know what? I'm in process and I'm in change. And so whatever attachment style I had that wasn't working for me, I'm changing it and I'm attach myself to Jesus, to be honest. But I don't use those terms on people that I know. Like, I just don't find it helpful. I do have a client, he's got a very high EQ, but after every date, he is like telling me about her theories and her attachment styles and her this and her that and her deeper wounds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did you enjoy this, girl? Did you have a good date? So I think that's my biggest fear, is really using those against people. And so that's why I don't do them. But again, we have so much information, but not a lot of application. And that's what I hope today is going to be for you. Ladies, it's going to be great for you. Obviously, it comes from my point of view, but guys, maybe listen for a little bit too, because you need to understand this better. After 2 years of marriage, I'm just like, man, I'm not sure that men really get the depth of the emotions of a woman. And it's hard. You guys just want to bounce like, oh, she's crazy, she's loco. But really, your job is to contain us. Like, you're a safe container for us. And I'd heard that word before, men contain us. But really, you should just be able to handle it. And so I think you need to take a step into your EQ and EI, whatever you want to call it, and just really start to understand that women have a lot to give you if you just take a minute and care about their tender hearts. So again, information, lots of it out there. Application, not so much happening. And here's the bummer is that there's no transformation. Like, tell me why marriages are not getting better. Tell me why dating is not getting better. This is frustrating me, and I know it's frustrating you. And also, I'm going to say this, that if you do it God's way, you're going to get a revelation. And that's kind of where I feel like I am. I feel like I have been submitting to God in this marriage. I'm not perfect. Ooh, I still need to have my husband on. I'll be like, what are the 7 things you don't like about me? Bring it on, bring it on. Just let's be honest in front of everybody. But we need to have a revelation. And I think that's where real transformation happens because God's involved. And today's topic is where I'm going to show you that God has really been working in my heart, in my marriage, in myself. And the bummer is you're not going to hit these certain things. You're not going to hit these certain tests in life unless you are in a relationship. I have to tell you, single life was easy. Easy, like coming home to myself, a house in whatever order I wanted, no one to have to check in with or make a plan with. And singleness, there is a blessing in that. And some of you might be better off in singleness, and that's okay too. But so count your blessings in singleness because once you get to a deep relationship, it's uphill. And I just saw John Maxwell this weekend, and he says everything worth anything is an uphill drive. It's uphill, guys. So you got to build your faith muscles, build your like intellectual muscles, build your heart muscles, and let's dive in today. And I do want to thank my sponsor. I don't know if you guys know this, but I've been talking about just getting, the older I get, my eyesight's going, my muscle mass is kind of fading a little bit, but I ain't going down without a fight. You guys know that. I used to be Fit Chef Katy. I'm still going to be Fit Chef Katy when I'm 85. And one of the things I've been learning is about creatine. And I always thought it was for like buff guys and whatever, but it's actually not. And as women, we really need it. So I've been taking John's Killer Protein. It's going to be good for my longevity and cognition, which look, when I am 85, I'm gonna be doing these podcasts like Dr. Laura. I love Dr. Laura. She's still like, she's old and she's cranking it. So I want that, but I also want to kind of structure my muscle mass a little bit more, and that creatine is going to help. I've noticed it's gotten a little soft, and I've got some beach vacations this summer, and I'm like, oh no, this is not. This needs to look a little tighter. So I've increased my weightlifting program, and I have increased my daily creatine. It's easy. It's like a scoop, and boom, done and done. So just hit the link below. It's like 30 cents a day. Ladies, like go get some. Don't think it's just for men. And you can also, men, if you're listening, get it too. Like, what's it going to hurt us in the end of, 10 years from now? You're going to be like, I'm so glad I listened to Katy. All right. Well, here are 5 things that I have been learning. And thank you for this long monologue before that. 5 things that I have been learning about healing my inner wounds. The thing I need to go over first is that oftentimes, even on Instagram, even from really great teachers, counselors, PhDs, you will see things like, well, you deserve a partner who blah, blah, blah. And your needs are valid. And listen, they are. Your needs are 100% valid, especially in a marriage. You married one person to meet some big needs. I mean, let's just look at sex. You married one person to have sex with one person to meet that need for the rest of your life. So I've also heard some people, and this will happen in the Christian realm, that all your needs should be met by Jesus. Your spouse shouldn't have to meet any of your needs, or they kind of minimize your spouse's role in meeting needs. Okay, I think that's bunk too. So this idea that your spouse should meet all your needs is bunk, and that your spouse shouldn't be meeting any and it's just Jesus is bunk. Okay, they're both bunk. Because really, it's the blending of a marriage and becoming one. Your spouse, you both have needs, and the joy of a good marriage is learning how to meet those needs for the other person, which is service, okay? And then it's also in learning how Jesus will meet your needs. So I'm just going to clarify that because I have been to some marriage classes and I'm like shaking my head. Nope, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And then I also see some Instagram people. Well, you deserve a relationship where he blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my gosh, this is Mr. Perfection. Like, good luck with that, ladies. So let's just make sure we're in the middle of the road here. Okay. So we know that the world calls a lot of these things attachment theories. This word needs. I have needs. Well, and again, I don't know my attachment theories because I don't want to know them. I don't want to put these labels on people. But I have been doing all the courses. I do read all the books for you guys. I mean, it's partly what I do for a living. I'm reading these books. I'm watching these podcasts. I'm taking these courses. I'm sending them to my spouse. How many of you do that? Hey, spouse, look at this. I mean, I talked with a girlfriend the other day. She goes, I was, and then he never cared to look at him. Now, look, my husband has a super busy day. He doesn't really have time to look at him. But I've asked him, hey, at the end of the day, like it'll take you 3 minutes. I found these important and I thought they could be applicable. Could you watch them? So he does his best. Sometimes we'll watch them together. And again, Jimmy on relationships is always the best one to send. I'm telling you, he's a winner. But here's what I found is that as much as I'm trying to read books, listen to podcasts, send it to my husband, I got this, because I'm very energetic about having a good marriage. Round two, again, I'm not going down without a fight. I'm a little fighter, Katy. I've always been like this, and I want greatness in my marriage. I have high hopes for my marriage. I have high hopes for my kids. I have high hopes for my friends, which can be good and bad because these expectations, which are really like my cheerleaderness for you, can be a little much for some people. But here's what I realized, and this happened the other day. And I was going to marriage group, and we go to weekly marriage group, great group of people. It's taught by a PhD, and sometimes I think it's a little over everyone's head. It's kind of circles. It's like I remember one of the guys in class, he said, well, what does it mean to be vulnerable? Like, let's just start with the basics, right? Like, I love that he cared enough to ask, what does it mean to be vulnerable? Like, this poor guy was like, I don't even know what these words are. But so sometimes we're doing everything, but what it really boiled down to is I just kept hoping the world would show me, a book would show me, and the next Instagram reel would have the answer to make my marriage amazing. And we got to marriage group, and I was kind of an emotional mess that day. Like, our marriage was, something was frustrating me that kind of happens a lot. And I'm like, why isn't this better? We just went to marriage group, or we just went to a marriage seminar. And the crazy thing is, you guys, every time I post a picture of my husband and I swear we fight. It's like the enemy is like, oh, you want to be an encouragement? Oh, you want to show people that it goes well? I'm gonna bring up a fight between the two of you. And so I am telling you, I am gonna guard my marriage way more. I want you to be encouraged. But we see this all the time, like super celebrities that share everything on social media. And I remember Chris and Heidi Powell. Do you remember them? He was from The Biggest Loser, fit coach, and she's like the really cute wife. And they did like a 30-day sex thing and like have sex with their spouse for 30 days. And then I swear a month later, they got divorced. We were all like, what? And it's really dangerous when we put our stuff out there for everybody. I think there's haters. I think there's people with negative vibes. But I just know the enemy also doesn't want us to be happy. So I have to be mindful. So here we are doing all the things the world tells me to do. And I finally realized when I got to marriage group that night, I said, that's it. I'm not going in there. I'm not going in. I don't need another lecture on how to have a good marriage. I don't need another round, confusing way of figuring this out. I go, you know what I need? I need Jesus. And I left and I walked away and I just said, I can't go today. It's just not for me. It's like I've had it. I kind of had it. No, I had it. And I took a walk in the neighborhood. Then I was thirsty because it was like 90 degrees with 40-mile-an-hour winds here in Texas. And I went over to Home Depot and I sat in the garden section. I was crying. The Home Depot worker brought me a bottle of water. It was very sweet. I called one girlfriend who doesn't live near us, but she knows me and she knows my husband and she cares for both of us. She's going to be a cheerleader for both of us, just to vent and let it out. And I knew though that all of this didn't matter. It's just I needed more time with Jesus. So that's tip number one. The world's ways are helpful, but they're not going to heal you. So I want you to know that the creator of your heart is going to heal you, and that's a relationship with God through Jesus. All right, number two. Again, I talked about this. I have good intentions. Like, I am the queen of good intentions. Like, I'm here to help women. We do this all the time. We're here to help. We really want to be that person who we have good advice. I'm here to tell my friends, like, this is how you raise good kids. I've done it. You should too. It's like, whoa, did people ask for your opinion? And even with clients, I've had to learn to hold back because I have lots of opinions on how they dress, how they show up, the car they drive. Is your house clean and in order? Like, this is what you could do to lose a little weight. These are all things that you could be doing to be more successful at dating. And I want them to be good at dating. But even though my intentions are good, it does not mean that I need to say them. And it also means that although my intentions with my marriage is so good, it became an idol. Like, through all this process and these last couple of weeks, God was like, that marriage of yours that you want to be so amazing that you're putting so much effort in, it's become your idol. Now, and I don't think I do a lot of idols in my life. Like money is not an idol. I don't, exercise is just a daily routine for me. It's not an idol. Like if I skip it, I'm not dying. So there's a lot of things that can be idols in people's life, but I started to realize my marriage was my idol, which again, a good intention, but it was not serving me well. And I have to remind you that no man or woman should ever be before God, even if it's a good intention on your part. And we're going to have, when I have Pastor Keith, he's going to talk about his triangle. It's such a cute story. The guy was 16 when he already knew this, just about if you're going for Jesus and she's going for Jesus and he's going for Jesus, it's a triangle. You guys are coming closer together because you're going for the same goal, and that is to have a relationship with the God who can change your heart, with the God who can make you a better person, with the God, not the world's ideas, but the God who knows you intimately, created you, and has a good plan for you. All right, so that was number 2, just no idols, not even your marriage or your spouse. Number 3, I was taking my husband to the airport. I try to do that. He likes it. He could use his, work money and take an Uber, but he likes when I drop him off. Ladies, it's the little things. This is how we serve our men. And as I'm dropping him off, he's going to be gone for a week. Sometimes that's hard for me. I'm kind of needy. I like my husband to be around. I'm new to Texas. I still haven't met like a whole group. Like I'm friendly, but a whole week here, this isn't like I don't have my kids around. So sometimes I get a little antsy pantsy. And I was a little bummed that he's going to be gone a week. He's missing the weekend. We're missing our date night. But as I drove off and my husband is on his way to be gone for a week, I heard God say to me straight, you need to be need free of that man. Okay, let me say this again. You need to be need free of that man. And it hit and it hurt. And I was frustrated because, again, there are needs that my husband has to meet, right? Like he needs to physically meet those needs. He needs to encourage me, right? Because I don't want to be seeking it from other places. And again, that's the danger. When your needs aren't met in your marriage, you will seek it out in other ways. But I think what God was saying was the deeper need, that deeper need. So this was all that like started it all, was the drive off, and then the whole walk away from marriage group night. And then so all of this was kind of, the Lord was moving it all together. And I have to be honest, I married my husband for potential. I was just hanging out with a group of women the other day, and she was saying how she married her husband for potential. And they say never marry someone for their potential. But I'm going to tell every man listening, we all marry you for your potential because we see greatness in you. We wouldn't be with you if we thought you were going to stay the same forever. Like we just wouldn't do that. Ladies, am I right? And ladies, it is good that we see his next level, his places he could go. And we need to pray that into their lives and believe that for them. I believe some things for my husband that I don't think he's even believed for himself. I'm like, bro, you are so smart, so wise. Like you could be doing this, this, and this. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I think that's the beauty of our feminine nature, and that we are visionaries and that we bring that to the table. So the danger of marrying for potential, though, is this expectation that it creates. And I'm a woman of expectation. I believe big. And so these are the expectations that come with it. But I want to share with you one of the things I wrote in my Bible. And I wrote this back in 2006. And this is my old Bible, man. This thing is like falling apart. It's all wrote in. And I got a new Bible now, but it's Spanish English, so I could practice my Espanol. But this is something I wrote, and I think this is what's hard again with these expectations of needs, is I said, Lord, show me how you meet my tangible physical needs by being an invisible God. And it's hard. I know for some of you, you have a relationship with God. Some of you are like, what is this? Like, I got to read a Bible. Like, but I have needs. I want to be touched. I want to be hugged. I want to be held. I want to be encouraged. But he does, and he'll do it in unique ways. And I think that's where God was like reminding me, become need free of that man. And let me meet your heart's needs, your heart's desires. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he'll give you the desire of your heart. It says that in Psalms 37:4. And I just want to encourage you. Some of you might be dating somebody. You might even with your kids. I heard this the other day from a girlfriend. She like kisses her adult son on the lips. And I'm like, girl, you need to let that go. You need to let it go because he needs to be kissing those lips with his future wife. And that's it. You know, we need to be need free of our children. We need to be need free of our friends. I have a friend, she's great, but she's exhausting. Like, if I don't call her enough, if I do not, and it has to be a call, you have to call her. It's like she's upset with me. And it's like, I can't meet those needs. Like, I feel that as a friend. And I'm like, I love you, but I can't meet that need. She needs Jesus. And so think about what is it that you need to do to be need free of. All right, number 4. And I love Laura Doyle. She has an amazing podcast and book called The Empowered Wife. I think she has the most practical tips. I am praying that she comes on my podcast. I've reached out to her a few times. But one of the things she says is you need to stay on your paper. You need to clean up your side of the street. I love these two because it's about accountability. You got to get honest with yourself. You got to identify what you're doing that's not good and healthy in a relationship. So you got to ask others. And my husband's too sweet. I'm always like, what could I be doing better? How can I meet your needs better? And he's like, it's fine. I'm like, stop. Tell me, because I want to know. And I want you to ask me the same question back. But so when she says stay on your paper, it's like you're taking a test. Don't cheat. Don't look anywhere else, but stay on your paper. This is your paper. This is your story. This is what you can create. And this is where you need to stay. And then clean up your side of the street. I think she's 100% right. I need to take accountability. I need to be working on things I need to be working on. And that's the biggest part here. I mean, I have to be honest. I watched some Instagram reel on women narcissists. So it's so funny that, the term narcissist, which I didn't know about when I was in 20s and 30s, 40s, I probably just learned it in this last decade. But there's reels on the women narcissists and the men narcissists, but I'm watching this one on female narcissists. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's kind of like me, controlling, blah, 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 which, I could go to the deeper issues, and I usually do. I ask myself, what's the deeper reason why? But I had to be honest with myself, like, oof, I kind of do that in relationships. I kind of control and try to manipulate a little bit by having like little sad temper tantrums, like, and just sullen and like, woe is me. That's not good. Like, that is not maturity. And I want to be moving on to maturity. And I think too much information is creating a stunted growth because no one's moving anywhere. No one's really growing in who they are. It's rare that you can find someone to say, I'm sorry, I recognize what I did. Will you forgive me, please? I don't want to do that anymore. That is maturity. And my pastor, who you are going to have on here, one of the things he teaches is he teaches the men. He's a big believer that men lead, although women, we can learn from this too. And I've said it is, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. You're making me a better woman. Of course, the men say you're making me a better man. And my husband will say that to me. And I'm like, okay, does that mean you like received what I said, took what I said, applied what I said? But the fact that he even says it means his ego is dropping. And that is the win. That is the big win, you guys. So stay on your paper, clean up your side of the street, be accountable to somebody, get in a Bible study group, be in a space where you can share with a really good friend who is on your team. I mean, I have a lot of friends, but I don't know if they're always on my team, either because of their own bitterness and their own negative whatever happened in their life. And so they bring it over to me when they're giving me advice and opinions. And I'm like, oh, girl. And again, I'm only giving you my opinions. These are my opinions, you guys. You got to check it with the word of God. You got to make sure that all of my stuff is what you believe God has for you, and anything that you listen to from other people. Okay. And lastly, you have to have the courage to change. And I say this because it's easy to just stay the same, guys. And I've known, because I used to be Fit Chef Katy and I used to inspire people to lose weight, but it's so much easier to stay the same weight. It's a lot of work. Everything worth it is going to be work. Hard work is what works. So people used to look at me and be like, oh, well, you're just fit because of genetics. No, girl, I'm fit because every day I work out, because I choose to do what I don't always want to do. Now, I enjoy working out. I consider it a blessing. Like, it's not only a luxury, but it's a blessing I get to, because there are people stuck in hospital beds. There are moms that are dying. There are kids that have cancer. Like, shame on me not to appreciate what I have and how I'm going to use it and honor God and honor my kids and honor my husband with it. So, and I like the result because I look and feel good. Like, I've never heard anybody complain about looking good in their skinny jeans. But to change is hard. And so I think that's what most people don't want to do. They don't want to change. They don't want to change. And then, okay, well, that's you then, but that's not who I want to be. And I don't think that's who any of my listeners want to be. So here's a couple things about change. You're going to have to retract some things that maybe you said, retract some of the ways that you treated people. You're going to have to pull it back and stop doing it. Like I'm an F-bomb dropper. F-bomb dropper. It all started with COVID. I lived in California. I had a lot of opinions because it was crazy over there and it was effing stupid. But I use a lot of F-bombs because of my anger energy, just thinking it would help me. But it's not who I want to be anymore. So I'm gonna have to start retracting when I do say it. And I usually say it with people who are saying it too. So then it's like that mutual F-bomb language. But I need to retract and go, you know what? Sorry, not what I meant to say. So learn to start to retract things. You also need to learn to reframe things. For example, I grew up with a mom who used to say, I will help you pack your bags. Like when I was little, I'd be like, I'm gonna run away. And she'd say, I'll help you pack your bags. Okay. My mom was a hurt person. She didn't know any better. But the idea is that those kinds of comments from your parents, from your spouse, they can kind of get into your heart, into your mind, and then it's on that record that's stuck and you're saying these same things to yourself. So I'm just going to reframe it, and the idea is my mom was a hurt person and she hurt me with those words because she didn't know any better. But I know my mom loved me. And so you can reframe your thinking about anything in a relationship or marriage. And you also need to renew your vow to your spouse, renew what you said, rewatch what you promised that person. Like my husband and I, we have our 5 core values, and like it renews my mind when I go read them. Like I'll tell them to you. Sometimes I quiz him. I'm like, do you know them all yet? Number 1 is friendship. Like I have to go back and be like, are we like doing life as friends, like besties? Number 2 is look at me. It's because I'm on TV here. Number 2 is honor. Am I honoring my husband? So, and ask him, how does it look like to be honored? I mean, respecting him is a big deal. And are we honoring the people around us? Are we celebrating them? Are we investing in them? Number 3 is generational. I can't think of the word. I'll get back to that one. Like investing into the lasting generations, like legacy, that's the word I'm looking for. So we want to invest in 3 ways into the legacies of our life. We want it to be spiritual. We want our kids and grandkids to spiritually know Jesus and to be spiritual. And then familial, like we want them to like each other. We want our kids to like each other. Like I want my kids to be tight. And so he's working on his kids to be tight. We're too late in the game to be blending, so it's not like we're trying to do the Brady Bunch here. And then the third thing we want is financial legacy, and we're wise with our money. We're good stewards. We have resources, and we bless people in generations to come, including our family and beyond. And the last one is generosity. We want to be generous people with our things, but with our time, and really build into other people's lives. So those are our core values, and we have to look at those to kind of renew our focus and make sure that we are doing them, applying them, and making our lives better together. And then the last thing is you're going to need to remove some people, some books, some Instagrams. You're going to need to remove some things out of your life if you're going to want to change. And sometimes you can just ask God to remove it because you don't even know how to remove it. Here's a quick story. I lived in Costa Rica in 1997. I was an exchange student. I was a good Christian girl, but I was dating Olman. Olman was the fitness guy. So he was in charge of the fitness center. Go figure. Katy's dating the fitness guy. And I didn't want to live with my family anymore. They were trying to get more money out of me. It was like kind of crazy. So he said, come live with me. So I move in with my Costa Rican boyfriend. I tell you what, if my daughter did this, I would fly down and grab her by the hair, which my daughter would never do this. And I wasn't doing anything with him, like, just so you know. But I knew that living with him was not, like, I wasn't comfortable with it. It's not where God wanted me. And I remember walking to the University of Costa Rica one day and saying, God, I don't like living at his house. I don't know where else to go. I'm in a foreign country. Where could I go live? My exchange program has not rehoused me. And on the way back from the university, I got a phone call, and this girl says, hey, are you Ullman's girlfriend? And I said, yeah, I am. And she says, no, I'm Ullman's girlfriend. And she too was part of the UC exchange program, the University of California. And so she comes over to his house. I'm packing up my things. She's mad. I'm mad, but we're mad at him. We're not mad at each other. We realized like he was playing us. And another girl comes over and she's already like, Katy, you can move in with me. We have an extra bed at our house. It was like God worked it out for me. Like I knew that what I was doing, I needed to change. I didn't know how to get out of it. And boom, the Lord worked it out for my good. So sometimes you know these things and you either need to have the courage to go change them yourself, which is always part of that, but also just ask God to help you remove these things out of your life because your healing is so important. And when I think about the kind of marriage I want, that is a heal and a hold woman. That is not a bitty, naggy, critical spirit. And there's no man that wants to live with that. And I don't even want to be that woman. So I know that all of these things, God has really been calling me into a place of change. And, he will provide that change. And yes, I have needs. And yes, my husband still gives me 4 hugs a day because that helps my physical need. But God also wants to just love me like he created me and loves me. So I hope that encouraged you guys today. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, sending this to a friend. I know it was a little long-winded. Usually my old podcasts were short and sweet and quick. Even my husband's like, your old podcasts were so like fast. You talk so fast. But either way, I just want you guys to know I am for you. I want you to find great and amazing people, get in my database, but even more, let me just encourage you to get some of my courses. There's 14 days to dating success. There's a great one for women, 7 Steps to Sexy. I'm teaching it live right now, and I'm telling you, if you need to get a little bit of your mojo back, it is fabulous. Men, there's Confidence 101, everything you should know about like how to get the girl. But all of these things to say, love you guys. Thanks for listening. Next time, you're going to love my next podcast. It's going to be good. And until next time, thanks for listening to a Matchmaker's Guide on Love and Life with your favorite matchmaker, Katy Clark.